Is your life influenced by people and events happening thousands of miles away? Ever wonder why? Well, the answer lies in a single word: globalization. It's the invisible thread that links us all together, from the furthest corners of the earth to your very own neighborhood. Picture a web, not the kind spun by spiders, but one that spans the entire globe. That's what globalization is. It's the intricate network of connections that binds countries, economies, and cultures, making the world feel a little smaller, a little more familiar. Now, you might be thinking, sure, but how does this affect me? Well, let's take a moment to consider this. Have you ever sipped on a cup of coffee? That little brown bean has traveled halfway across the world, from a plantation in Colombia or Ethiopia to reach your coffee mug. That's globalization in action. Or perhaps you've used a smartphone. These gadgets are the epitome of global cooperation. The components are sourced from various countries, assembled in another, and sold worldwide. It's a journey of thousands of miles, all to end up in the palm of your hand. But it's not just about products or technology. Globalization also knits together our cultures and societies. It's the reason why you can find a yoga studio in New York or a McDonald's in Tokyo. It's why you can listen to K-pop in Kansas or watch a Hollywood movie in Mumbai. However, it's important to note that while globalization can bring us closer, it can also highlight our differences. It can create opportunities, but also challenges. It can foster understanding, but also conflict. That's the paradox of globalization. It's a force that unites and divides us in equal measure. So, the next time you enjoy a piece of Swiss chocolate, or use an app developed in Silicon Valley, or groove to a Latin beat, remember, you're part of this vast global web. Each of us, in our own small way, contributes to this amazing phenomenon. Globalization is like one big global family, stretching across continents and oceans. And just like any family, it's complex, it's messy, but at the end of the day, it's what connects us all. Globalization didn't just spring up overnight. It's a product of centuries of exploration, trade, and cultural exchange. The seeds of globalization were sown when our ancestors dared to venture beyond their familiar landscapes, driven by curiosity and the quest for resources. These explorers, tradesmen, and adventurers were the pioneers of globalization, setting up the framework of an interconnected world. Starting with the Silk Road, the ancient trade route that stretched from China to the Mediterranean, we witnessed the early signs of an interconnected world. This was a time when merchants, diplomats, and explorers traversed vast distances, exchanging goods, ideas, and cultures. As we move into the age of exploration, the 15th to 17th centuries, we see a surge in global interactions. The world map began to take shape as European explorers like Christopher Columbus and Vasco da Gama discovered new lands. This era marked the beginning of colonization and the establishment of trade routes across the globe. The Industrial Revolution in the 18th and 19th centuries fueled the next wave of globalization. Innovations in transportation and communication, like the steam engine and the telegraph, shrank the world. Goods, people, and information could now move faster and further. The 20th century brought us into the era of hyperglobalization. Technological advancements in transport and communication, alongside political changes, accelerated the pace of globalization. The advent of the internet and digital technologies in the late 20th century has connected us in ways our ancestors could only dream of. Today, we're living in an era where we can communicate instantaneously with someone on the other side of the globe, where goods can be shipped from one continent to another in a matter of days, and where we can experience diverse cultures without leaving our hometowns. The world as we know it is a result of this centuries-long chain reaction. The footprints of explorers, the voyages of tradesmen, and the innovations of inventors have woven together the intricate web of connections that is globalization. Globalization has had a profound impact on the world economy, but it's not all positive. As countries and economies become more interconnected, the ripple effects of this global integration are far-reaching and complex. On the one hand, globalization has opened up a world of opportunities. It has led to an expansion of trade and investment, with businesses reaching beyond their borders to tap into new markets. This has spurred economic growth and job creation in many parts of the world. For example, the clothing that you're wearing right now might have been designed in one country, manufactured in another, and sold to you in a third. This global supply chain is a testament to the economic opportunities offered by globalization. But this economic growth is not evenly distributed. Some countries, particularly those with strong industrial bases, and technological capabilities have reaped the majority of the benefits. Meanwhile, others, particularly in the developing world, have struggled to keep up. This has led to a widening gap between the rich and the poor, both within and between countries. Moreover, the environmental impact of globalization is a growing concern. The increased demand for goods and services, coupled with the rapid industrialization of many economies, has led to an increase in pollution and resource depletion. This environmental toll is a stark reminder that the economic benefits of globalization come with a cost. Additionally, the global financial system has become more interconnected and therefore more vulnerable. A financial crisis in one country can quickly spread to others, as we saw during the global financial crisis of 2008. This systemic risk poses a significant challenge to the stability of the global economy. And yet, despite these challenges, there's no denying the transformative power of globalization. It has reshaped the economic landscape, bringing both unprecedented opportunities and formidable challenges. The economic landscape is forever altered by the forces of globalization. As we move forward, it's crucial that we navigate this complex terrain with a balanced approach, harnessing the benefits of globalization while mitigating its challenges. This is the global economic puzzle that we must solve in the 21st century. Culture, baby! It's a melting pot of traditions and beliefs, all thanks to globalization. Now, what do we mean by that? Well, imagine a world where the boundaries of language, art, and even cuisine are constantly being blurred and reshaped. That's the cultural magic of globalization at work. When we speak of culture, we're talking about the ideas, customs, and social behaviors that define a society. And in our interconnected world, these cultural elements are being shared and mixed at an unprecedented rate. It's like a grand global tapestry, where threads from different cultures weave together to create something new and vibrant. Take food, for instance. It's one of the most tangible examples of cultural exchange. We're seeing a fusion of flavors and culinary traditions that would have been unimaginable a few decades ago. Ever tried a sushi burrito or perhaps a tikka masala taco? These dishes may sound odd, but they're testament to the culinary creativity that emerges when cultures collide. But it's not just about food. Music, fashion, language, even our ways of thinking are being influenced by this global exchange. The Korean wave, or Hallyu, has swept across the globe, bringing K-pop and Korean dramas into our living rooms. Fashion trends are no longer confined to Paris or Milan. Instead, they're being shaped by influences from Tokyo to Lagos. Yet, as we embrace this cultural fusion, it's crucial to remember the importance of cultural preservation. Every culture has its unique traditions and values that deserve to be respected and protected. In the whirlwind of globalization, let's not forget the beauty of cultural diversity. So, what's the takeaway? Globalization is transforming our cultural landscapes, breaking down barriers, and fostering an exchange of ideas like never before. It's a thrilling ride, but one that requires a careful balance between embracing the new and cherishing the old. Our identities are being shaped by this exchange of ideas and traditions. It's a fascinating time to be alive, witnessing firsthand the cultural implications of globalization. But what do you think about globalization? We hit the streets to find out. Let's dive into the pool of public opinion, shall we? When we talk about globalization, the responses are as varied as the cultures of the world. Some see it as a bridge, connecting the farthest corners of the globe. They love the ease of communication, the access to global products at the tip of their fingers. One person we spoke to said, "I love that I can order things from around the world with just a few clicks." Truly, globalization has brought the world to our doorsteps. Then there are those who celebrate the cultural fusion that globalization has brought forth. They revel in the blend of traditions, the exchange of ideas, and the vibrant diversity it has created. As one respondent put it, "It's cool to see different cultures blending together. We're all more connected now." Indeed, our world has never been as richly diverse and interconnected as it is today. However, not everyone sees globalization through rose-tinted glasses. Some express concerns about the loss of cultural identity and traditions amidst this global convergence. One interviewee commented, "Yeah, but it's also important to remember and preserve our own traditions and roots." This sentiment underscores the need for a delicate balance between embracing globalization and preserving cultural heritage. Finally, there are those who worry about the economic and environmental consequences of globalization. They point out the widening wealth gap, the exploitation of resources, and the struggle of local businesses against global giants. These are valid concerns that remind us that globalization, while beneficial, is not without its challenges. So what's the takeaway? Well, it seems that globalization, like any other phenomenon, has its proponents and critics. It's a mixed bag of blessings and challenges. The key, as many of our interviewees suggested, lies in finding a balance. Embrace the opportunities globalization offers, but let's also be mindful of its implications and strive to mitigate its drawbacks. Opinions on globalization are as diverse as the world itself. The key lies in finding a balance. Globalization can seem like a complex web, but at its core, it's about connection. From its historical roots, it's grown into a powerful force, shaping economies, cultures, and public opinion. It's a journey of discovery, from ancient explorers to modern consumers, yet it's also a challenge, confronting us with economic disparity and environmental concerns. But through it all, we see the beauty of diverse cultures blending, of ideas exchanged, and of a world growing closer. Globalization. It's a journey of connection, challenge, and change, shaping the world as we know it.